Welcome. This is part one of a three-part series in our mini but mighty leadership lessons, and it's all about accountability. Accountability is a critical component to ensuring you get what you want, or in other words, getting the results and outcomes that you want at work. Be sure to check out our other mini but mighty leadership lessons on this topic, which focus on other key components like setting expectations, clear communications, role clarity, and timelines and priorities. The last key that we want to add to this is accountability. What is accountability? True accountability is shared ownership of outcomes and transparent expectations. It requires clarity, courage, and consistency. Why courage? Because it's often our leaders who look the other way or let someone off the hook. They fail to bravely and candidly share feedback that causes a lack of accountability, which erodes trust. People tend to think that accountability is all about blame and punishment. There's a myth that we use fear and pressure to motivate people, which can work, but it's not the best method to get what you want at work. Using clarity and trust motivates people more, and creating environments where people are intrinsically motivated, where there's psychological trust, is the most successful way to get what you want at work. This isn't about catching mistakes, it's about owning outcomes and making sure people are invested and working collaboratively together towards an outcome. It's not about top down control, it's two-way commitment. And how can you gain that? Here at Boss at the Helm, we talk a lot about setting expectations, but that doesn't mean it's my way or the highway. You absolutely can and should be gaining insights, ideas, and collective approaches and methods about how to reach what the goal or outcome is. It's not a top down approach to saying, do this or else. Some other mistakes that we often make when it comes to accountability are forgetting the components that we've been talking about. You can't hold someone accountable if you haven't first agreed to what you're aiming to accomplish. So make sure that you have set expectations, standards, and gained agreement for what good looks like, when it's going to be done, when you want updates, and how you're going to fairly measure and evaluate. If you've done all that, here's a few more things to watch out for. Avoid taking over and just doing it yourself because it's easier or faster or it takes too much time to explain it to other people. Part of leadership and holding people accountable is coaching them so that they learn what good looks like or how to reach the outcomes correctly, the process and the result. Make sure that you allow time for people to give feedback and to step back collectively and say, did that go well? What could we have done better? What would we do differently next time? The other thing you want to be mindful of is holding people to different standards or unfairly holding people accountable. People will resist accountability when they fear punishment, shame, or unfairness. When your team members see people who aren't trying as much and they get treated the same, held to the same level of accountability as people who are really invested in working towards the plan, that's when you lose trust. Fairness and consistency is important. If you keep letting somebody off the hook, people will view it as unfair and stop engaging to help you get the outcomes that you want. Accountability thrives in a psychologically safe environment where trust, fairness, and consistency exist. Join us here at Boss at the Helm on Fridays. Upcoming Mini But Mighty leadership lessons are going to continue this topic and cover things like what you can do, how you should act, how to hold yourself accountable as well as others, and the specifics on how to coach to performance and correction as you hold people accountable. It's all about awareness, accountability, and leveling up, starting with yourself. Lead yourself, then lead others. Be a boss.